or third grade fractions. This is called a warm-up. If we're in the classroom, we may have technically used this as a warm-up, but it is going to serve as our lesson for today. Before we go on, go ahead and check out the fractions that are on your screen. Can you name those fractions? What about this first one? What fraction is this? This is 0.6. How about this fraction? 1/3. How about this fraction? 1/2. Very good. On the next slide, we're going to match the shaded objects to the correct unit fractions in the circles. Before we go on, what is a unit fraction? You remember when we learned about unit fractions, I said, all right, look up on the math word wall, what is unit and what is fraction? We know unit meant one, like when we're talking about base 10 blocks, rods in unit, a unit means one. And fractions are parts of a whole. So if we have a unit fraction, it is one part of the whole, just one piece. All right, go ahead and see if you can match them up. I'll give you just a minute and then we'll check the answers. You can't really move them, obviously, because it's, in my video, but you can look and say, that would be, maybe the star is 1/4. Go through and name each of them. The stars are 1/4. How about those moons? Oh, sorry. Triangles. We're going to hop over the triangles. The triangles are 1/5. The moons are 1/6. The crosses are 1/7. How about the missing ones? Those rectangles are 1/8, and those arrows are 1/9. On the next slide, match the objects which are shaded to the correct fractions in the circles. So this time, do we have unit fractions? Nope, no unit fractions, but we do have fractions. So our stars, 3 out of 4 are shaded, 3/4. For the crosses, 2 out of the 3 crosses are shaded, so we have 2/3. Go and finish up those last 3. Just do it in your head. The triangles are 4/5 because 4 out of 5 are shaded. The rectangles are 5/9 because 5 out of the 9 rectangles are shaded. And finally, the moons. 2 out of the 6 moons are shaded, so 2/6 represents the fraction of the moons that are shaded. On the next slide, we're going to match the objects which are shaded to the correct fractions in the circles. So now instead of looking at is it written out with the digits and the symbols, we're seeing them written out with words. Can you name them? Let's go a little quicker on this one. Name these fractions. The stars have 2 out of 4, 2/4, or 1/2 shaded. 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. The moons have 1/3 shaded. The triangles have 3/5 shaded. The crosses have 5/7 shaded. And finally, the rectangles have 6/8 shaded. Here's our fractions of a set. So we're going to start with our pens. If 1 out of 2 or 1/2 of the 8 pens are shaded, if we were to split these in half, so I could divide this box here, I have 4 on top, 4 on bottom. If one of the halves are shaded or are what we're discussing, we would be discussing 4 if we say 1/2 of the 8 pens. How about the bananas? If we broke them into 3 groups, how much would 1 out of the 3 groups have? You can make one group here, and another group here. Meaning each group would have 2 bananas. Now finally the briefcases or the bags. I have 8 bags and I want to break them into 4 sets. So I see 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets. 4 rows, I have 4 sets. How many bags are in each set? It looks like there are 2 bags in each set. Let's do it again. I'm going to pause on this one for a second, and I want you to do them in your head. You can write them on scrap paper to keep up with your answer, and we'll go over it in 1 minute. All right, let's go over them. The candy, 2/3 of the 9 sweets or the 9 candies. If I broke it into 3 groups and I wanted to see how many 2 out of the 3 sets would equal, it would mean I have 6 candies. How about the rulers? I have 8 rulers. I'm going to break them into 4 sets. How many total would I have if I counted 3 out of those 4 sets? I would have 6 rulers. Next up are the footballs or soccer balls. I prefer to say soccer balls. I know some people might debate on this. If I have 2 out of the 4 footballs or soccer balls, how many would I have? Since I only have 4, I'm not going to really break them into groups because it's just 2 out of the 4. If I had 2 out of the 4 soccer balls, I would have 2 total soccer balls. Now, finding fractions. Reasoning challenge. Explain what is incorrect and correct any mistakes. Looking at the hearts. It says 2/4 of the hearts are shaded. The fraction that is unshaded is 2 out of 4. Now let's break this down. First off, it says 2/4 of the hearts are shaded. What is a quarter? How much is a quarter? A quarter is 1/4. So if 2 of the quarters are shaded, that means 2/4 would be shaded. I don't see that 2/4 are shaded. I only see that 1/4 is shaded. So that should say 1/4 of the heart are shaded. The next statement says the fraction that is unshaded is 2 out of 4. How many are not shaded? 3 are not shaded. So 3 out of the 4 are not shaded. Now let's look at these. It says 3/7 of the shapes are shaded. The fraction that is shaded is 1/7. First, I notice that there are 7 shapes. However, how many are actually shaded? 2/7 of the shapes are shaded. And that fraction should say 2 out of 7.